Here is how to record a song on GarageBand using the Smart Instruments. Now I like the Smart Instruments because even if you really don't know how to play an instrument, you can create some really good patterns and some really good sounds with the Smart Instruments. We're going to start off with the Smart Drums, and there are many drums to choose from, but I'm just going to stick with the hip-hop drum machine. You can see there are 6 different kinds of drums that can be used. All you have to do is touch on a specific drum and then drag it over to the screen here. So I'll start off with the kick drum and I'll drag it to here. Then I'll take the snare drum, put it here, a little bit of shaker. We'll put the hi-hat here. Put in some hand claps. And then we'll put some crash cymbal in. And once you've got a pattern that you like, just hit the record button. And then just let it fill up the entire bar right here. And then when it's done, tap the stop button, and now it's saved. Be sure that when you record your next track, you take home plate and drag it back to the beginning. Because if you don't do that and you try to record, your next instruments may end up somewhere a little bit later on in the ruler. We're now going to tap Instruments. And again, this track right here is saved. There's nothing you have to do. It's already within the iPad program. So press Instrument, and I always like to do bass second. So I'll go over to the Smart Bass and press Smart Bass. And if you want to check out some of the different sounds, go over here. This is called a Liverpool bass. If you press Liverpool, you can see there are 8 different types of basses that you can choose from. I personally like the keyboard sounding basses. I think they're kind of neat sounding, so I'll do Exoplanet. And you can see you can choose from either chords or notes on here. And there's also something called autoplay. For the bass, I'm going to do autoplay. And if you tap on the knob on autoplay, there are 4 different types of bass sounds or bass patterns that you can choose from. And if I play the drum beat along with the bass pattern, I can choose which one I like the best. Let's turn this off again. There we go. So pattern number 1, and I'll press C. If I go to number 2, number 3, number 4. Oops, there we go. And I kind of like that one, so I'll stop there. And we'll stop the bass, drag home plate, put it all the way to the beginning, and go ahead and play your bass to start off with, and then hit record. And then it'll time it out just right. And then when it's done, hit stop. And you can see that the metronome is still playing, so if you don't like the ticking sound during your music, you just press the metronome, which is right there, and it'll shut off. Now we're going to press Instruments again, and we're going to add Smart Keyboard. So tap on Smart Keyboard. Again, if you go off to the side, there's a bunch of different types of keyboard instruments that you can choose from. I'm going to use one called Machine Language because I kind of like techno music. And We've got the autoplay again, so there's some pretty good autoplay things going on. Now the bass pattern that I have, I don't think is in the key of C major, so I am going to change the chord right here and make it a C minor. And the way you do that, I hope I can remember this, I think you press the wrench. Let me see if that's what it is. Here it says Edit Chords, so tap that, and I actually want to do this one. I want to take my C chord and make it a C minor chord. And then when I press done, it's now C minor. And when I press it, it has a minor sound. Now, if I do the autoplay with my song, I get this. It's kind of quiet. Like that one. So we'll take that back to the beginning, hit record. And then press stop. And it saves the recording. Now, I thought the keyboard sounded awfully quiet there. So I'm going to press this icon right here, and it'll take me to a screen that looks like this. In order to change the volumes of the instruments, you press these three lines here and then drag your finger outward. And they looked all the same, but this is the volume control here. So I'm going to touch that and move it up and try to get it to sound a little better. Or at least a little louder. Maybe lower the bass a little bit. That sounds good. I'm just going to add one more instrument to this. I'm going to touch and drag those three bars that are right there and move that over. Touch instruments again, and I'm going to go to the smart guitar this time. And I grew up as an electric guitar player, so I like the electric guitar. So we'll do some hard rock. And we're not going to play chords on this, we're going to do notes. And it's cool because if you have trouble playing all the different notes on the guitar, on GarageBand, there's a little shortcut where you can play just the notes that you want to hear. And you do that by touching this here that says scale. And when you touch that, if you remember, I did a C minor scale. So I'm going to play what's called a minor pentatonic scale because that will sound best with the song that I'm writing right now. And when I touch minor pentatonic, the only notes that appear on the guitar are the ones that fit in the C minor pentatonic scale. Just for a little bit of extra sound, I'll turn on these two effects pedals, and when I touch, there's my guitar sounds right there. And I'm not going to record right away. I'm just going to play and kind of mess around with this to see if I can come up with something that I like. So I'm just going to play my recording. And then if you want to record it, you just press the red button. then it saves it all. And then you can go back and look at your song.